Hey, welcome back. Happy Friday, January 9th, 2026. Yesterday we did the first half of the wild card games. We covered about two games live on the stream. And, last night around midnight, I finished off the other another game, which was the Bears. All I had to do was transfer the information from my other notes to the blogger. So now you can actually view all the notes that we gathered up for the Bears game, the Bears and Packers game. We already made a decision on this game. So in this stream, I'm only gonna do one game, and that's the Monday Night Football game, the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're gonna decode this game and put all the notes on the blogger. And then the last two games, which is the Chargers and the Bills game, I'm gonna do that tomorrow because those games are gonna be played on Sunday. Let me just double check. Yeah, so the Bills are playing on Sunday, and the Chargers are playing on Sunday. So I'm gonna decode those games tomorrow, while the Saturday games are going on, because the Saturday games are done. We did the Rams and Panthers game, and we did the Packers and Bears game already. So those notes are available right now on the blogger. Now I finished all. I have all the picks already. I have all six picks. We put together a 6 leg parlay for this weekend, and I'm really confident. And if you read my notes, you don't have to bet all six on one ticket. You can, but you don't have to. And if you are interested, only if you're interested in getting the 6 leg parlay. If you're not on the Patreon, I'm charging $30 to get the parlay because it's a 6 leg parlay, and this is the odds of it. Look at this; it's a very low odds: -110, -110, -102, -108, a -198. Don't assume that this is the favorite for Sunday's game. We did a lot of teasing, right? So a lot of teams, they either have more points or less points than the actual spread. But I'll try to get you guys the best play that makes the most sense according to the ATS record and all the notes that we gathered up. And in the Monday Night Football game, we made a decision, and the line is at -112 for that game, for the winner of that game. Doesn't have to mean that they're gonna win the game. They could just cover the spread. But those of you on the Patreon, on the parlay tier, you already have this. Those of you that paid for the parlay, you already know who it is that we have. And this is the odds, right? The 6 leg parlay pays plus 3,800. So if you bet $1 on this, you make $38. You bet 10, you make $386. I mean, that's huge odds, and I am confident that we're gonna hit it. Now, what I wrote here was, 6 leg parlay. I don't want to sell nobody's dreams, right? I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's a guarantee that we're gonna hit all six teams. It's not a guarantee. So what I recommended was for you guys to straight bet all 6 games because the odds is so low. Right? You can literally straight bet every game. Right? Let's say you have $10. Actually, a lot of you are not betting $10. Let's just be honest. You guys are not betting $10. You guys are betting way more than $10. Let's just be honest. The average gambler bets at least $100. Nobody's betting. Nobody's waiting an entire game just to make $9 profit. Nobody's doing that. None of my friends do that. So I know none of you are doing that either. So let's just stop the bullshit. Nobody bets $10 on sports games. So if you're betting at least $100, which is the norm, you're gonna make 90 for every game. So I am that this is what I am gonna guarantee. And if I don't hit it, then you guys can come and bash me on the internet. You guys can say, oh, the guy's a fraud, whatever. You guys can say whatever you want about me. But I'm gonna guarantee that we'd hit at least 4 out of the 6. That I'm guaranteeing. Now I can't guarantee that we're gonna hit all 6. I cannot guarantee we're gonna hit all 6, but we're gonna hit 4 out of the 6. Guaranteed. All right. So what I recommended was if you straight bet all picks, the goal is to hit at least 4 because if you hit 4, you made profit. And I think if we hit 4 out of 6, I think we can call that a successful parlay. Now, if we hit all six, then congratulations. But look at these odds. These odds are amazing, and it's not usual. It's not a common thing to hit all six. We have had times where we've hit all six. That like that day we hit for $60,000, but I haven't been able to do that since that. So let's see if I can find that screenshot for you guys to see. So it's been a while, and I don't want to come on here and make it seem, and I don't want to sell nobody's dreams. I don't want to. I'm not trying to like cheat anybody or lie to anybody. I'm giving you guys trying to be as straightforward as possible. We've done it before. That's why I know we can do it again. If we did it once, we could do it again. It was a while back. That's what I'm saying. See, it's been a while because we always falling short by one. So even though we don't hit the six, we sometimes we hit 5 out of 6. 4 out of 6. I've hit 4 out of 6 so many times, and I think this is gonna be another one where we get at least 4. If we get 5, it'd be even better. Damn, was it that long ago already? Damn. Yeah, it's been a while. Look at that. It's probably been over a year already. Man, it's been a year since we hit a 6-leg parlay. Hopefully, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, we hit 3 legs. It's the 6 that's really where the money is, and that's the real challenging part. To hit those all 6 consecutive like that. Man, it was before Eminem's mom died. Wow. Yeah, we've hit some big time parlays, man. Look at this for $2,200. A lot of people used to claim that these wasn't my tickets. I'm like, you guys are such fools. Don't you think if I was posting somebody else's tickets, I would have got exposed? Like, come on. I mean, what do you guys think? This is the AI photo? Oh, yeah, this is AI. I should have never did that. Now I went back. Oh well. Yeah, I want to find that ticket. Because I'm curious to find out what day that was. Because it looks like it was like over a year ago. But yeah. So my recommendation is for you guys to bet straight bets. You have $600 to if you have $600, put $100 on each. You're gonna make 400. You're gonna make well. If you invest 600, you should make $800 back. Because if you hit 4, well, you'll make a little under 800, but you'll make more than the 600 that you betted. Because if we hit 4, you're guaranteed at least $700 back, which is more than what you invested. So that's the goal, to make more than what you invested. If we hit 06, you bet $600, you make $1,200. So. And if you hit the 6 and then hit the parlay, then woof. All right, let me see. Okay, so is this one? This was a 4-leg. Look at that. So it wasn't a 6-leg. It was a 4-leg. Oh no, this is okay. This is what. So this was almost a year ago. Wow, a year ago. Yeah, it's been a year. 6-bet parlay, 2,500 turned into $60,000. See the odds? -110, -110. See, those are the odds that we go for. At the end of this is during the football season. Okay, who's calling? I'll call you right back. Whoever that is, 77. I'll call you right back. Yeah. So, congrats. See? Yeah, but it's been a year, so I don't want to sell. I don't want to make it seem like this stuff is easy. It's not. We haven't hit it again in 12 months. So, but it is in our resume. It is in our resume. Those of you that claim that I'm not the GOAT, this is part of my resume. So you can say whatever you want. All right. So yeah. So that's what I recommend. So if you guys want the parlay, you have to send $30 to either the Cash App or the PayPal, and also include your email address so I can know where to send it, just in case you're not. Even if you're not on a parlay, I need to know where to send it, because I'm gonna send. Not only am I gonna send the pics, but I'm gonna send the notes and the links to the. Well, you guys all can all go to the blogger. It's public to see, but next week it won't be public. The blogger notes. So yeah, if you want it, I mean, $30 to make thousands. I mean, you tell me if it's worth it. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to. Sit back and watch us make money. All right, so let's just with no further ado, let's get right into the Monday Night Football game. Texans and Steelers. Of course, I'm gonna have the music playing in the background. You guys can have your private discussions in the chat. Eventually, I'll look at the chat, see if you guys point out anything that I might missed. And I'm only gonna decode this game, so because I have something to do at 4 p.m. I don't think this is gonna take me 3 hours to decode. It shouldn't. But depending on how fast I do this game, I might just attack one of the Sunday games. Because we already did the Eagles game yesterday, because a guy sent a super chat and he asked me about the Eagles and 49ers. That pick is available right now as well. So, yeah, man. I mean, let's see what happens. All right, so thank you, everybody, for the support. And I'm going to pin the link to the Patreon if you're not on there. If you want to join, if you don't, fine. If you just want to support the channel, if you're not a sports bettor, you can. You don't have to bet on sports to support the channel. You can support it with $1, and will help us grow. A lot of people asking me to do these streams, but I mean, you guys want me to sit in this chair for 3-4 hours working and not generate any currency, any money. Because yesterday we generated $13 in a 5-hour stream. $13 in a 5-hour stream. What is 13 divided by 5? We made, what is that? $2 an hour? $2.60 an hour. So that's how much my time is worth. $2.60 for every hour that I sat on this chair yesterday. I don't know if people want that. Want me to dedicate 5 hours a day for $2.60. I don't know. But that's how it's always been like that. It's always been like that. My channel for some reason never gets the support that it deserves. Anyways, yeah. If you got, let me just call this guy back. Somebody called from the 770 number. Let me see what. Hello. How you doing, man? Oh, you want the plays? All right, no doubt, my brother. I'll send it to you right now. Yeah. I got you. Because I'm doing a live right now, actually. All right, no doubt, my brother. I'm going to text you right now. All right, you too. All right, 1 second, you guys. Let me just send this over. Like, again, please don't bet all 6 on one ticket and we go 5 out of 6 and then you're complaining about it. Be smart, man. Be smart. There's ways to make money. You don't have to be greedy, man. But yeah, you want to put all six on one ticket. I mean, you can. That day, when I put that $2,500 on that ticket, that's because the day prior, I don't know if you guys remember, I was at was it around that time when we went to the Met Stadium and then we hit for like $5,000 that day, and then so I was playing with their money, so I didn't mind, taking a risk like that, but I don't recommend nobody to do that. That's a big risk, and it's especially if you're playing with your own money, your hard earned money. I don't recommend it. But if you're playing with the casino's money, sure, why not? All right, enough of me. Let me just get back. Let me just get straight to work because I want to finish this as soon as possible. All right, so enjoy the music, you guys. Thank you for joining us in the stream today.
Week 10 of the season with a 3-5 record. They hit the road for some playoff action now as the hottest team in the NFL, haven't lost since, winners of 9 straight games.
CJ to throw, left side of the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Dalton Schultz.
Go, that's what you do. That's what you do. Let's go.
They roll into Pittsburgh this week, terrible towlers with some sore wrists. Steelers took them on the ride of their lives to get here. Not sure how many they have left to give, but keep sticks handy because by the grace of the football gods, they still have more football to play.
Holden, the kick is no good. It is wide right, and the Steelers are the champions of the North.
That fourth quarter last week was insane in the membrane. Just one what the football play after another, all the way to the end. It was the game Pittsburgh Deb and her husband envisioned when they heard Pittsburgh signed Aaron Rodgers. His play when it mattered, vintage A-Rod, 294 yards, a TD with no mistakes. There's a Severance character whose past self would tell you he's pretty clutch, pretty clutch.
Rodgers protected, throws to Austin for the touchdown!
Pittsburgh survived a missed extra point from a guy who's only missed 2 extra points in 4 years. Survived missing their star receiver for the last 2 games. Now they have to try and survive Houston's defense. Didn't look the part last week, but by halftime they had yanked most of their A-team. BA and Murdoch weren't happy, but big picture, Texans held teams to 17 a game, fewest yards per game allowed, 6th toughest on third down. Plenty of takeaways.
Which then creates a wobbly duck up in the air, and the Texans able to capitalize.
Most of those takeaways of the INT variety, Rodgers drawing a secondary that held quarterbacks to the 3rd lowest rate, 3rd lowest completion percentage allowed.
3rd and 6, quarter begins. Mahomes downfield for Hollywood Brown, intercepted underneath Kamari Lassiter.
They have 4 DBs with 10-plus passes defensed this season and 4 INTs. Safety Kalen Bullock, 54 rating, 10 passes defensed, 4 INTs. Cornerback Derek Stingley, 57 rating, 15 passes defended, 4 INTs. Jalen Petrie, 50 rate allowed, 11 passes defensed with his 4 INTs. And Kamari Lassiter, a 74 rating, 17 passes knocked down, 4 picks. He didn't play last week, but they hope the rest will allow him to go this week. If he's out there, no Waldos to go after. They held tight ends to the 3rd lowest rate, wide receivers to the 4th lowest. DK Metcalf rested at least, 6 touchdowns, 850 yards. No one else on the team cracked 500 this year.
Got it to DK Metcalf. And fighting his way for the touchdown.
Rodgers, other options on the outside, MVS, 34 yards versus Baltimore. Adam Thielen, 43 yards.
Rodgers putting it up top, and it's brought in by Thielen.
Calvin Austin, 55 yards and a Rodgers touchdown.
And it is a horrible thing when it happens to you.
Austin's 55 yards, more than double his season yards per game average. Same is true of Pat Freiermuth's 51 yards versus the Ravens.
In the middle, it's Freiermuth. 1st and goal, Pittsburgh at the 6.
But here they are, and it's the cast that helped them put up 26 points in their dramatic win, and that is 6 games with 26-plus points in their last 8. So their offense has been putting up plenty of points down the stretch.
Toss to Warren. Got a little opening, and away he goes!
Rodgers' tackles have to show up big. Will Anderson, 12 sacks. Danielle Hunter, 15. The team doesn't blitz much, still racked 47 quarterbacks this year.
Herbert surveying, and runs out of time again. And there's Will Anderson getting in on the act.
Derek Barnett, 5 QB takedowns. Danico Autry, 3.5. So even when their 2 big guys take a breather, it doesn't let up. Rodgers took fewer than 2 sacks per start. Right tackle Troy Fautanu gave up 4 sacks, not bad. Left tackle Broderick Jones gave up 8, though.
And look out! They get to him back at the 42. Hutchinson was there first.
Rodgers may want to loosen those old legs up. Texans gave up 6.4 yards per escape to quarterbacks, only one team worse. But they held running backs to 3.7 a carry, only one team better.
First and goal. Taylor gets blasted by Anderson.
Now they take on Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell in this one. Each guy averaged over 4.5 per run this season. Gainwell usually sees more action in the passing game, though. He led the team in targets, receptions, and yards last week, for example. 8 catches, 64 yards.
Gainwell slipping inside. Through the tackle of Washington, Kenneth Gainwell.
Warren chipped in 33 receiving yards week 18, 66 rush yards at a nice 4.7 clip.
Try to change that. Warren right, they do so. Good gain to the 24.
These teams' offenses are a lot alike. They both averaged 23 points per game.
Stroud over the middle. And he's got another open receiver for a touchdown.
They both throw more than run, both equipped with a star quarterback who has one star pass catcher he's working with, along with a vet tight end type. CJ Stroud's season kinda ho-hum on paper, but did enough to get him to the playoffs.
The run, Stroud circling, throwing, end zone, touchdown!
Stroud is facing a defense that likes to dance to the ballroom blitz, 7th highest blitz rate. His numbers this year pretty much the same versus 5+ pass rushers as 4 or fewer. Steelers defense nowhere near as good as Houston's this season, but they held teams to 22 a game by being top 10 good in the red zone.
Ramsey, it gets him on the sack.
Yeah! Hell yeah, Jalen!
Only 2 offenses were worse inside the 20 than Houston's, and they struggled on 3rd down, too. Winning on 3rd down was not Pittsburgh's defensive specialty, so keep an eye on that battle. Steelers' play versus the pass wasn't stellar either. A 92 rate allowed, over 7 yards per attempt given up. Only 3 teams allowed more yards per game than they did. They gave up 238 yards to Lamar Jackson, and he only threw 18 times.
Reloads and throws to Flowers downfield. He's got it for a touchdown.
They gave up over 13 yards per attempt to Lamar, 38-yard TD allowed to Devontae Walker, that 26-yarder to Isaiah Likely that should have cost them the game, and 2 bomb touchdowns to Zay Flowers, one where they just lost track of him.
Fake to Henry Jackson.
Again.
Shot downfield. Zay Flowers again. Zay Flowers inside the 20.
The semi-baffling part, Flowers easily Baltimore's clear WR1, same way Nico is for Houston. Collins finished with over 1,100 yards for 2025.
Wide open Collins, and it's a Sunday stroll in the park.
Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson each had their moments. Jaden Higgins, the WR2, over 500 yards plus 6 TDs.
Higgins, caught. Higgins, touchdown, Texans, 75 yards.
Pittsburgh's play versus wide receivers this year, middle of the pack. Worse versus tight ends, though. Only 3 teams gave up more than the 11 touchdowns that the Steelers gave up to the position, so watch for a good game from Dalton Schultz, maybe. Stroud's second favorite target, he gave him 777 yards this year.
Hooks a pass, back of the end zone, caught, touchdown!
Then there's the Alex Highsmith, Cameron Hayward, Derek Harmon, Nick Herbig, TJ Watt factor. Herbig, Highsmith, Harmon, each with a sack last week. TJ returned, reminded everyone that he's okay at this football thing, picked off Lamar.
Hayward, Highsmith, and TJ Watt. And that makes it all worthwhile for TJ Watt.
Watt, Herbig, and Highsmith, 7 to 9.5 sacks each this season. Stroud, not as easy to bury as he used to be. Texans and Steelers tied each other in sacks taken with 31 in 2025, top 10 good. Watt will battle right tackle Titus Howard, who has a 4.8% pressure rate allowed. The average for right tackles is 9%. Highsmith and Herbig versus left tackle Ariante Ursary. Pressure rate allowed was better than the average left tackle, but he did give up a team-high 8 sacks.
3rd and 13 could be a nightmare against this crew. Stroud is backpedaling. He'll be dropped.
That group fared better in pass protection, but they weren't able to open up a ton of running lanes. Woody Marks scratched out over 700 rush yards.
A yard,
Huge hole.
Woody Marks!
Really had to grind for them, though, only averaged 3.6 per try. Pittsburgh gave up 126 yards to Derrick Henry in their big win, 6.3 a run. That's the king, though. They held backs to 4.3 a carry overall. Not great, not terrible. Steelers 6-3 this year at home, only 3-5 versus teams over 500. Houston 4-4 versus 500-plus squads, so not too much better, 5-3 as the road team. This will be the 9th meeting between these two franchises. No playoff meetings. Steelers up 5-3. Most entertaining bout between them. Say the 2014 season. A little Fitzmagic Big Ben action.
On a Monday night in Week 7, they fell behind Houston 13-0. But in less than a 2-minute span, the game and season turned.
Spreads him out a little bit, and he flips it, and it's thrown to the back of the end zone, and that's a touchdown. Antonio Brown, the left-hander, hits Lance Moore. And he throws the check down, and it is intercepted. Ready for the front line at the 20, Kiesel at the 15. And this is crazy stuff.
At the end of the second quarter, the Steelers scored 3 touchdowns in just 73 seconds.
And what a turn of events this has become.
The lightning-quick turnaround was due in large part to the most explosive offense in Steelers history.
Houston Texans went into Week 10 of the season with a 3-5 record. They hit the road for some playoff action now as the hottest team in the NFL, haven't lost since, winners of 9 straight games.
CJ to throw, left side of the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Dalton Schultz. Go!
That's what you do. That's what you do. Let's go.
They roll into Pittsburgh this week, terrible towlers with some sore wrists. Steelers took them on the ride of their lives to get here. Not sure how many they have left to give, but keep sticks handy because by the grace of the football gods, they still have more football to play.
Holden, the kick is no good. It is wide right. And the Steelers.
I got your pizza.
We should order pizza every game.
Before you watch the biggest games, make sure you've got our biggest pizza in the game. The Big New Yorker for $10. That's how you pizza before the...
After their dramatic win over the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL's final game of the 2025 regular season, the Steelers are AFC North champions for the first time since 2020, and they will host the Houston Texans on Monday Night Football in the wild card round of the playoffs here in 2025 for the Steelers. So, and for, of course, the rest of the NFL as well. Thanks for being with us for the matchup presented by Shell Polymers alongside Missy Matthews and Matt Williamson. I'm Rob King. Missy, obviously, the Steelers winning the AFC North title for the first time in 2020 means their first home playoff game since 2020 as well.
Yeah, it has been a while. And I think just the way that that game ended in Baltimore and knowing it's the Monday night game, which I don't love night games, but for the Steelers, Monday night at home is pretty special. 23 consecutive home wins. And then you have a Texans team coming in. We're going to talk all about their defense and what they're really good at, but they're 0-6 on the road in the playoffs.
And of course, the Steelers haven't won 6 tries in the playoffs either. So right. One 6-game streak is going to come to an end. This is a Texans team that's obviously on a roll having won 9 in a row.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for them, too. I mean, this coach-quarterback combination consistently gets to the playoffs. They often get to the divisional round, and I just love the way they play defense. We'll dig into some of the specifics, of course, but they fly around the football and are ultra-aggressive on that side of the ball.
All right, we're going to dig in right now because I think when you talk about Houston, you think about their top-ranked defense. And, Missy, your key is keeping, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson off of Aaron Rodgers in this game.
Not an easy job to do when just those two guys combined have 27 sacks through the regular season. And you could just tell by the way Coach Tomlin spoke of that tandem during his Tuesday press conference. Going to be a huge test for Troy Fautanu and Dylan Cook to, as you said, keep Aaron Rodgers upright. And I think, too, the quarterback pressures, it's not just the sacks. In the next-gen stats era, Anderson has 48 quarterback pressures on third down. That's the most they've ever had since they started calculating that. And it will be a true test to see how this offense can get rid of the ball quickly, but get it to guys who are open and move the ball with knowing those two guys are potentially coming your way.
One of the things Mike Tomlin talked about was, look, you better not get into 3rd and long, Matt. And by the way, they don't blitz a lot, and their backups. You have Derek Barnett as a backup. I mean, they've got really good quality backups. The interior of their line is not bad in the pass rush department as well. But certainly these two guys, Pro Bowlers, are the ones you really have to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah. And their offense, or their defense is not very complex. There's not a lot of mystery to it. They just have better chess pieces than you. And with all respect to Hunter, who I think is actually going to the Hall of Fame, and people don't even look at him in that light, Anderson's probably the defensive player of the year if it wasn't for Myles Garrett's crazy season.
Yeah, so there's a lot against this defense, a lot of key matchups to attack. I'm going to get to my matchup now, which is you get DK Metcalf back, missed the last 2 games. They obviously really missed him, and Calvin Austin against the Cleveland Browns in that loss. But last week they seemed to be able to get over his loss in the win over the Ravens. But you get him back. He's your leading receiver. But it's not going to be easy because they've got a pair of outstanding, actually a trio of outstanding corners. You're going to leave one of those, the nickel, to Matt Williamson. But DK Metcalf going against Stingley and Lassiter. They're 2 very talented cornerbacks. That's my key, guys. You want to be able to loosen up that Texans defense a little bit. You don't want them just to be able to crowd the line of scrimmage. They play really fast. They rely on that front 4 to get pressure without blitzing. That helps these guys in the back end a little bit to have more in coverage. But make no mistake, Stingley, who's another Pro Bowler, and Lassiter are really, really good corners.
And I think it just speaks to their defensive unit as a whole. As Matt said, you know what they're going to do. It is simplified, but you know it's coming and you know it's hard to stop. And they have depth at all levels of the defense, which definitely makes it difficult. And they like to take the ball away, 19 interceptions throughout the regular season. So definitely a tall task for the Steelers offense.
4 defensive backs have 4 interceptions for Houston, and that includes the guy you want to talk about, Jalen Petrie. Interesting that Mike Tomlin really singled him out as a guy during his press conference saying, hey, listen, this is a guy you better be aware of. Maybe not a household name to a lot of people, but Jalen Petrie's a really good player.
Yeah, he's really the glue to the defense. I mean, I've been saying he's like the lamp that brings the room together because he'll do anything that they need any given week. He's these typical, they're becoming more and more common around the league, these slot corner safety hybrids that can play the run, that can blitz, really aggressive for his size. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, and I just want everyone to know about him.
Yeah, this is, I think we can safely say, maybe the stiffest defensive challenge the Steelers have faced, including the Cleveland Browns, who have a very, very good defense. This is an outstanding defense that Aaron Rodgers and company are going to have to face. I would like to see, we don't have this little bonus matchup, I would like to see the team be able to run the ball successfully. Not easy to do against the Titans. They're an outstanding run defense, but boy, if you can get out of some of these 3rd down situations, become less predictable, that should free up DK Metcalf. That should help your guys block for Aaron Rodgers.
And in only 4 career playoff games for DK Metcalf, coming back at the right time, 5 touchdowns. So more touchdowns than games played, also averaging 112 yards per game as well. So it will be good to have him back in. Calvin Austin, as you said, both those guys were missing, and you lost Darnell Washington in the middle of that game in Cleveland.
They can be beaten. It's just not going to be easy because they haven't been beaten in a while.
Yeah.
2 days after Halloween.
Yeah. It's been a
That's
while
crazy.
since they've tasted defeat. Monday night would be a good time for them to try to
And
do that.
4 of their 5 losses have come against teams that end up winning 12 games or more.
Yeah,
so
and
their
all
losses
5
are
of their
pretty impressive
losses
too.
have been by 1 score or
Yes.
fewer. So yeah, there's that. Well, not fewer.
They've
one
had a tough
score.
schedule,
Yeah,
right.
yes. Okay, so it is time now for our Immaculate Prediction, where you get an opportunity to compete against the rest of Steeler Nation for the opportunity to win great prizes. And our question for you: will Kenneth Gainwell have over or under 30.5 rushing yards in this game? And first prize is a Kenneth Gainwell autographed football. Up next, what do the Steelers need to do to slow down C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense? We'll let you know when the matchup, presented by Shell Polymers, resumes.
Our fans are here. Give them something to cheer about to them.
The crowd at Acrisure is so loud.
There's nothing like game day in Pittsburgh.
Oh my, TJ!
This defense is swarming.
And it's picked off. Wow, what a catch! Get 2, touchdown, Pittsburgh Steelers.
We'll see you at Acrisure Stadium. Here we go.
Well, your Pittsburgh Steelers have been installed as slight underdogs to the Houston Texans for Monday night's matchup, the final matchup in the first round of the 2025 NFL playoffs. And, of course, a big reason for that, we just discussed that, and that is the defense for the Houston Texans. But their offense is pretty good, too. C.J. Stroud, in his 3rd season, leads the way. And we're going to get into the key matchups as far as trying to slow down this Texans offense. And for me, I'm going to pick the running game. I want to see the Steelers, I think particularly in the interior of the defensive line, that might be the Steelers' biggest edge in this game. Those 3 guys against the 3 guys in the middle of the Texans' offense. And the offensive line, the Texans don't run the ball particularly well, but they do run it a lot. And what that allows them to do is dictate the pace of the game. Matt, I know you had a big statistic you were watching all year long. Wasn't until 5 games ago that the Steelers actually ran more offensive plays than their opponent. But they have done that every game since. They've won the time of possession. That is something that Houston does really well. It would be great to see the Texans get this running game completely shut down like the Steelers have been doing lately and did in particular against the Lions, and make them one-dimensional. And, hey, now you're a couple incompletions away from them not being able to dictate the game. And with me, for me, it starts with Missy sort of getting them into 2nd and 3rd and long by stopping the run.
Will smash the run. If you watch any of the NFL Films clips of Coach Tomlin during that Baltimore game, every time he went over to talk to the Steelers defense, especially the line, smash the run. If we're going to smash the run, we'll get to 8. And I think that is true, like you said, the middle of that defense for the Steelers, but also a healthier TJ Watt. Talked about how he felt great out there in the Baltimore game, had his 2nd interception of the season, and also just the fact he said fresh legs. Didn't want him to have that time off. No one wanted him to have that time off for the reason it was, but he is healthier, and we've just seen Alex Highsmith continue to just wreak havoc on everybody and anybody. And Nick Herbig, he only played 13 snaps against the Ravens, but those 13 snaps, he did some pretty good things in.
Yep, I love the way the Steelers defense is playing. I think Cam Hayward is playing at an unbelievably high level right now for the Steelers. And, you know, again, they're not great at running, but they do run it a lot. So if you can make them one-dimensional by taking away that running game, I think it could be a key. I think Cam Hayward, his matchup, presumably with Titus Howard, is going to be one to watch. If you're just sitting at home watch 97 and 71 and kind of take a look at that matchup in the middle.
Yeah, and I would say the Texans' run game is probably their weakest area of their team, despite doing it a fair amount. They want to stick with it. They also play with leads a lot, too. But one of the problems is, well, one of the good things for the Steelers, led by Cam Hayward, is I think the Steelers have matchups across the defensive front that favor them in a big way.
Okay, so let's get to that second group of defensive fronts, and that's you, Missy, with the Steelers' edge guys, and you mentioned some of them. Alex Highsmith, T.J. Watt comes back. You know, Nick Herbig has been obviously very effective. Even Jack Sawyer, with increased playing time, showed up pretty well. They don't give up a ton of sacks, But if you could just pressure C.J. Stroud, make him uncomfortable back there, it could have a huge factor in limiting their offense.
Yeah, and I think to Matt's point of, forcing him into things he might not like to do. They haven't given up a ton of sacks. He hasn't thrown a ton of interceptions either. But, I think T.J. Watt and that group brings something. They are a known commodity similar to the edge rushers for the Texans that C.J. Stroud is going to have to think about. And if you can't contain them, I don't think he has the same type of legs as we saw Lamar Jackson getting out of somehow Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig. You never in your mind would have thought, okay, he's going to escape this. You thought for sure he was down. Obviously, he made a great play. So hopefully it doesn't take that type of performance, but at least one of those guys getting back there, hitting him a few times and maybe making him think twice.
And it's rare, Matt, when you go into a matchup and somebody doesn't say, well, at least the combination of edge rushers goes to the Steelers, right? So these guys are probably hearing this all week, how good the other guys are. If you needed any extra motivation. Yeah.
I mean, the Steelers, with all respect to Barnett, who you mentioned, if Herbig's your number 3, you're really, really in good shape. Yeah.
So, look, we could throw in. I'm going to throw in another bonus matchup.
It's Schultz. The playoffs.
Schultz, it is the playoffs. Their tight end, he's third among tight ends in receptions. He's really good, and the Steelers have struggled against tight ends statistically this year. But I think that your matchup is right on as far as the receiving game goes, and that's Joey Porter Jr. against Nico Collins.
Yeah, and they do have some nice peripheral receivers, but it's Nico is the straw that stirs the drink, and he's the prototype. He's the 6'4", 220-pound physical freak, great at the catch point, great after the catch. They rested him last week. I don't even know that he needed it, so he's going to be fresh if he was battling anything. Now, the Steelers' number 2 corner situation is better than it has been for years, in my opinion. Samuel, Pierre, etc. So they haven't had to travel Joey as much, but this matchup, especially with the size relationship between the corner and receiver, I think Porter follows him around.
And they're an interesting team, too, in that they don't throw the ball a lot to their running backs. They don't dump it down a lot to their backs at all. So Collins is going to be a big key in Schultz.
I think they'll be looking for a running back in the offseason.
Okay.
To be honest with you, yeah.
Well, that's let's hope that offseason begins like maybe say Monday night around midnight. That would be a good time to send the Texans on to their offseason. That is when the Steelers and the Texans will meet Monday night at Acrisure Stadium in the first round of the 2025 playoffs. For Missy Matthews, for Matt Williams, and for our entire Steelers production crew, I'm Rob King. We thank you for watching this edition of The Matchup, presented by Shell Polymers.
Llévate 4 iPhones.
Houston Texans went into Week 10 of the season with a 3-5 record. They hit the road for some playoff action now as the hottest team in the NFL, haven't lost since, winners of 9 straight games.
CJ to throw, left side of the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Dalton Schultz.
Go, that's what you do. That's what you do. Let's go.
They roll into Pittsburgh this week, terrible towlers with some sore wrists. Steelers took them on the ride of their lives to get here. Not sure how many they have left to give, but keep sticks handy because they hit the road for some playoff action now.
Absolutely. And it's all.
In this game is, of course,
trenches. The Steelers ranked 4th in the league this year in pass rush win rate, according to ESPN Analytics and NFL Next Gen Stats. That's a mismatch against the Texans' offensive line, which ranked 30th in pass block win rate. But Dan, it has been a much different offense for Houston down the stretch than the one that we saw early in the season. What have you seen that's changed a little bit that maybe can help them on Monday night against TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and the rest of that Steelers defensive front?
Yeah, they know their weakness and how intelligently they tried to cover that up. One of the things that they do that reminds me a little bit of the Rams is how much they move C.J. Stroud. So 3 tight ends come over. I want you guys run fake to the right, and now watch the left side, okay? We call this a keeper. This is a protected edge. We secure the edge. This is easy for the quarterback, right? It's not drop back where the quarterback's going to be in a spot, and so he gets out because we pin the defensive end. Another option, we'll motion our receiver in. Now this time it's an in and out block, people in his face. Great, there's the ball out to the flat right now. They're going to do this 6 or 7 times a game. Everybody who's watched our show knows I love 6 offensive linemen. 6 offensive linemen, first down, play fake, run, ball fake, nope. It's that wrap in replacement. And so I think that Nick Caley, their offensive coordinator, is like, well, I don't necessarily think that my offensive line is something or somebody that they're not. Yeah. I'm not going to drop the quarterback in the same spot back all the time. The different ways that they move CJ, or they'll put that 6 offensive lineman on the field on first down. Here comes run defense. It's 1st and 10. We're going to run the football. And there's those quick hitting play actions to replace at the second level. And so I think that's going to be the challenge for the Steelers is trying to figure out where CJ Stroud is going to be when he's throwing the football.
Let's get Mina and Marcus back in on this conversation. And Mina, what have you seen from this, I would say, pretty much improved offense for that Texans team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw 20th, and I was like, okay, we're working with something here compared to last year. Come on.
Yeah.
I think for Pittsburgh, there's 2 things you got to do against this Texans offense. One, obviously, you got to rush the passer. And the other thing is you got to take away the middle of the field. Dan and I have talked about this a lot since the bye. This team on in-breakers is absolutely killing teams. Yes. And that's something that Pittsburgh has struggled with. Less so, I would say, since they moved Jalen Ramsey to safety. But I want to highlight this because I thought this split was pretty telling and dramatic. Since the bye, the Texans offense has been the best in the NFL when teams play single high coverage. When teams play split safety, they drop to below average. They have been feasting on those single high looks, and when there's some opportunity there to get big chunk plays, especially off of play action. But if I'm Pittsburgh, a team that plays a lot of single high, I consider changing it up for this one, which is something you have seen them do. I think back to the Colts game. They have some shown willingness to change some of their coverage tendencies on the back end. I think in this one, you really have to seriously consider playing more split safety against Houston.
Yeah, I like that, Dan, and MK. Dan, I like what you talked about because what the Texans have started doing is they've created opportunities for Higgins and their tight ends to run away from coverage.
Yep.
With C.J. Stroud being on the move. And also give you a run look to create more time, more than just straight up blocking. I think this defensive line from the Pittsburgh Steelers job is going to be about identifying run-pass transition and then being able to hold up enough on the back end so some guys can get home or at least impact C.J. Stroud when he is on those rollouts. Y'all, it's the hardest thing to do as a defensive lineman if you are really selling run on these passes, and Houston has been doing a really good job of that and not allowing guys to tee off.
Man, I'm going back to the Colts game again, Marcus, where it felt like, the Colts came out, this is the hottest offense in football, and Pittsburgh just didn't take the cheese. They played the pass more than the run on play action. Same game plan this week. Houston's not a good running team. Do not sell out to stop the run.
By the way, history being made on Monday night. It's the first time that the Houston Texans will play on Wild Card Weekend and not play Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not kidding. First time in 9 appearances.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, Washington Commanders offensive coordinator. He's out. The team and Kingsbury parting ways after 2 years. A year ago, everything was going great in Washington. This year, not so much. Kingsbury and head coach Dan Quinn, some disagreements on how to move forward with Jaden Daniels in the offense. Kingsbury is out. Dan Quinn will look for a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator as the Commanders have let go of defensive coordinator Joe Witt, who spent a decent part of this year as the defensive play caller. Obviously, things didn't work out there. A lot of work for Washington to do personnel-wise on defense this offseason. They will do so with an eye toward a new coordinator underneath Dan Quinn, who, of course, oversees that defense. And in Dallas, after 1 year as defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus is out. Dallas, obviously a very disappointing season on that side of the trading away Micah Parsons right before the season started. Eberflus came in last year with head coach Brian Schottenheimer, but Schottenheimer will look for a replacement. Worth noting, the last 5 Cowboys defensive coordinators have been coaches who had previous head coach experience. So when you look at guys like Brian Flores, who's a free agent as a coach, his contract is up in Minnesota. He could get head coach job interviews. Minnesota could keep him, but he's somebody who's of interest to the Cowboys. Other names on that list, like Jeff Ulbrich, who finished last season as the Jets' interim head coach, and a couple guys who are defensive coaches who got fired as head coaches in the last couple of days, in Raheem Morris, Jonathan Gannon. Those are the types of names to keep an eye on as the Cowboys look for a replacement.
Yeah, sometimes a head coach that gets fired isn't necessarily coveted as a head coach right away again, but as a coordinator, that'd be a top-flight hire for any of those teams looking for coordinators. Dan Graziano with the latest, the NFL busy time of year.
So the Bears fell short in the finale, but they still managed to secure the 2 seed thanks to the Eagles' loss to the Commanders. Chicago opens the postseason hosting the 7th-seeded Packers on Saturday night. These division rivals split both the regular season matchups, with the Bears winning the most recent one in OT by way of a Caleb Williams to DJ Moore game-winning 46-yard tutty. Williams spoke about playing in big moments. It's new on SportsCenter.
I think I am built for these moments, mentality-wise, how I've worked. I've been in a bunch of big games before, a bunch of big rival games. And so, in those moments and in these moments, I think I can provide a spark for the team. I think I can, do whatever my team needs me to do, whether that's stay in the pocket, whether that's run, whether that's scramble, whether that's whatever, hand the ball off 30 times and be energetic about it. Whatever it takes is where I'm at and where I'm going to be at for these next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Our Bears reporter, Courtney Cronin, just left that media availability. So what is the team saying about its offense entering the postseason?
Christine, the number one priority for the Bears is combating these slow starts. We've seen them in both Green Bay games. At Lambeau, they were down 14-3 at halftime, 6-0 at home against the Packers. And even last week, it was the fourth quarter, and they were down 16-0 before any of
So like I said, I made a decision on this game a long time ago. So I'm just putting as much notes as possible on the page so you guys can review it. And like I said, obviously I won't be giving out that pick on this public stream. That pick is already available on Patreon. So look, if you're watching this video on the playback, go to the comment section and click on the link. You can join the Patreon. For this pick, this is going to be a Monday night game, so you only have to pay $20 to get this if you just want this one game. Now, if you want the 6-leg parlay, I gave out the instructions. I posted it on multiple places. I put it on my Instagram. I also put it on YouTube. And it's also in my stories on my Instagram page. So let me go to my Instagram so you guys can see. I thought I must have deleted it on my YouTube. I did post that, but that's not the instructions on how to get the 6-leg parlay. So here it is. So you have to send $30 to either of these links, the Cash App or the PayPal, and you have to do it before Saturday, 12 o'clock. If you do it after, I might not give it back to you because, once of the game starts, it's not worth even betting on the 6-leg parlay because the point is to hit all 6. That way you can catch the line at the odds at 3,800. So yeah, you send $30 in your email address to any of those links, the Cash App or the PayPal, and I will email you the 6-leg parlay. Now what I recommended was for you guys to straight bet each play, and then have another ticket with all 6 on the same ticket. That way, if one loses, you don't lose all your money. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I guarantee we will hit at least 4 out of the 6. I cannot guarantee that we're going to hit all 6, though. But 4 out of the 6 should be Money in the Bank, which means if you straight bet all 6 and hit 4, you should make profit. And I think that's the goal, is to make profit. I don't want to sell nobody no dreams and be like, oh, 6-leg parlay, we're going to win. No. This stuff is hard. I haven't done it in a year. Last time I did this, where I nailed a 6-leg parlay, was over a year ago, which was a long time ago. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible because we've done it before. This is where I'm trying to take my sweet time with this one and make sure I get it all right. And then, let's see if we can break the code, Because we've been doing this too long for us not to be more successful at nailing these picks, man. These games are all scripted by the same pattern. Isn't it funny how Mike Tomlin, his last 3 seasons, the Steelers have ended the season 10-7. And then they go to the playoffs and lose and become 10-8 because Pittsburgh Steelers 108. So this could be the 3rd time that happens. That's the thing that has me a little shaky about the Steelers for this week. Because this could be the 3rd time in a row the Steelers end the season 10-8 because Pittsburgh Steelers is 108. But like I said, I'm not gonna give you guys what I think. Maybe 3rd time's the charm. We never know. There is a lot of 9s, like you guys heard the analysts talk about. The Texans are on a 9-game win streak. This game will be playing on a 23-day numerology, the 9th prime. It's also on 112. Houston is 112. So I don't know what none of that means. But there is one thing that I like about this game, and I think that's where the money is. So yeah, Patreon for that intel. Yeah, but for the last 3 seasons, the Steelers have ended the season 10-8. When Pittsburgh Steelers is 108. I mean, that's why I don't understand how people can deny this knowledge. I mean, 3 years in a row, the Steelers end the season 10-8. After going 10-7 in the regular season. Happened 3 years in a row now. Well, not 3 years, but it happened 2 years in a row. 3 years in a row where they finished 10-7. We don't know if they're gonna finish 10-8 yet. We will find out. But their stadium does equal 107. All right. So I'm done. Yeah, like I said, the Patriots, I need the Patriots and Bills. I haven't decoded those games. Oh, I decoded them, but I haven't put the notes on my blogger is what I mean. Yeah, but those games already been decoded. Those picks already been given out. And, I just wish everybody good luck. Please be smart. Don't bet more than you can lose. Yesterday, I did a little, it was kind of like a stupid bet, but it did, Pascal Siakam did have a nice narrative to score the first basket. He did score the first basket for the Pacers. So that's why I even attempted to take that bet. I should have stood away from that because it's like, what's the point of that, right? But I want to show you guys something. In that right after I lost the first basket, I placed this bet. This is the beauty of just betting more than not betting more than you can lose, and just being patient and waiting for a good opportunity to make some money. So yesterday the game was synced up perfectly with Pascal Siakam. It was his 666th regular season game of his career. Of course, yesterday not only did they snap the 13-game losing streak, but Rick Carlisle, the head coach of the Pacers, he picked up his 1,000th career win. He had to wait 13 games for that to happen because They needed to do it on the most perfect day, on the 666th game of Pascal Siakam's career. But notice the Pacers won with 114 points because Indiana Pacers is 114. Remember, yesterday the game was perfectly synced up with Siakam because it was 281 days after his birthday, the 60th prime number. And, that's why the Pacers had 60 points. That's why I bet it. I was trying to bet $60, but I didn't have $60 in my account. The Pacers had 60 points at the half. Notice they had 33 in the first quarter, 27 in the second. So once I saw that, I'm like, okay, so today is 281 days after Pascal Siakam's birthday, the 60th prime number. Indiana Pacers is 60. They might score 60 points in the first half, and that's exactly what happened. That's why I took the Pacers to win by at least 2 points the first half, because I saw that I was like, look, if they score again, they're going to get to 60. Because it was like 58 or something like that. I don't remember. But it was like tied. I'm like, they're going to get to 60. So I placed this bet. I put $59 and got 177. So the 20 that I lost on Pascal Siakam to hit the first basket, I got it back plus more. Because we saw how this game was synced up with Pascal Siakam. It was perfectly synced up with his birthday. It was also 84 days before his upcoming birthday. Indiana Pacers is 84. They became 2-16 on the road when 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And again, that was his 666th game. And they won with 114 points. The Indiana Pacers stamp. Go look at the NBA Finals, how many times they had 114 points. But that's what I mean. Like, sometimes you might take a gamble, and but if you bet $20, it's not gonna kill you, right? So, where is it? What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. The game. Oh yeah, and they also traded Trae Young recently. I wonder what that's about. I haven't looked into it, but it's no doubt ritualistic. Here it is. So yeah, man, they went with 114 points. Yeah, they became 2-16 on the road. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. They snapped a 13-game losing streak. Kept the Hornets on 13 wins. On the way to Utah, they might pick up their 14th win in Utah, but we'll see. I know the Mavericks yesterday stayed on 14 wins, and picked up their 14th road loss in Utah. When Utah's 14, and the Utah Jazz picked up their 13th win of the season when Dallas is 13. Yeah, and there was something about this game, which I don't know if it was ritualistic, but they canceled this game because I think some type of liquor was on the court. I don't know what that's about. They were claiming that there was a hockey game played in Chicago, and I think the Blackhawks. I think some of the ice was melting, which is like, how does that happen? Right before a basketball game, the ice starts to melt. Yeah, but like I was saying, like, if like I did, I think yesterday we were showing how, like, look, if you just go like this, right? You just pick a random parlay, right? No, this is the 18th. Wait, what? Oh, I see what they did. So they already got the game. I'm like, they already got the Bills advancing to play the Broncos, but they got it both sides. So you can bet on. If you bet on this, it gets canceled if the Chargers end up losing or whatever. I see what they did. I was about to say, how do you do? They're revealing the script already. So yeah, so this is just a random 6-leg parlay right here. And Yeah, like even this random parlay right here. Look at the odds, man. But like I said, the goal is just to hit 4, so we can make at least $2,000. Well, $200, depending on how much you make. How much you're betting. If you're betting $1,000 on each game, then you should make $8,000 if we hit 4 out of 6. But if you're betting 100, you should make at least 400, and you bet at 600. No, you'll make 800 and you bet at 600. And there's a lot of big bettors out there. I know a lot of you think that that's probably big money to spend on sports betting, but it's not. There's people betting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, man. All right, but you don't have to be one of those people. But if you have the money to do so, then why not? I recommend it if you're playing with the house money though. Don't work and then spend the money that you worked on sports betting. I don't recommend that. Pay the bills. Make sure all your stuff is in order before you go on a gambling spree. And another thing about like when you're picking these teams, right? Like there's a lot of ways where you can change the line. So let's say like the Rams are 10.5-point favorites. There's other options. You don't have to bet. You don't have to take that. You can change the spread. There's a thing called alternate spreads. I don't know exactly where it's at. Here it is. So here it is. So, but of course, if you change it, the line is the odds is gonna change. Hey, look, you could probably take the Rams with the points. You just have to bet $770 to make $100. And I've seen people like do that as a strategy, especially if the team is a 10-point favorite. They have the riddle. They have a nice narrative, and they're big favorites. You bet $770, you're guaranteed to make $100. It's a risk, but if you have the odds and the narrative to accompany the team, I think that's a good risk. So I don't know. If maybe you guys may misunderstood what I mean, but I'm just saying, like, because we have seen 10-point favorites lose, so it is risky. But what I'm saying is, you got to make sure that you have the narrative along with the odds, right? So, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say you see how the Thunder in the NBA Finals, they had the narrative to win, right? They had the narrative to win and beat the Pacers in Game 7. And let's say Game 7, I don't remember exactly what the odds were, but let's say the Thunder were 10-point favorites. What you could do in that situation, because the Thunder are going to definitely win the championship, and they're 10-point favorites, you can take the Thunder with the points, bring it all the way down. That way you're guaranteed some type of profit, even though you're not going to make a lot. But you just in case the Thunder, end up winning by 1 or 2 points, you're guaranteed to win because you have security, right? You have the narrative, and you have them as 10-point favorites. So you have Vegas's coverage as well. But you got to make sure you have the narrative, which means you have to do the research and do the groundwork before you go and bet big money on any team. Give you another example, like the Dodgers and Blue Jays. A lot of people, I don't know what they saw with the Blue Jays, but if you notice that, okay, so it's Game 7, it's on Fernando's birthday, it's okay. The Dodgers are going to win their 106th game of the season, so there you go. Now you have the narrative for the Dodgers, which is a strong one. Dodgers pick up their 106th win of the season on Fernando Valenzuela's birthday. When Fernando's full name is 106. Big number with Jackie Robinson, right? So you have that. Then let's say the Dodgers are negative 300 to beat the Blue Jays in Game 7, which I don't think there was that, but let's just assume it is. Instead of, well, the thing is baseball is a little different. Baseball, there's no spread. But let's say there was spread in baseball, right? Instead of taking the Dodgers to cover the spread or to win money line, you can actually give them points. Give the Dodgers points. You have to bet a lot more money. But you give them points. So now you got a security. You have 3 security blankets. You have the points, you have Vegas' odds, and you have the nice little narrative behind them. So that's 3 ways you can cover yourself and guarantee that you're going to make money. So there's a lot of ways to make money. You don't have to just do what Vegas wants you to do, and that's like, bet spread or bet money line. There's other ways to do it. But the gematria piece is crucial. You have to have the gematria piece as well before you put any money on any team. Yesterday when we betted on Siakam, we had a gematria piece. But like I said, that was risky. I mean, I know that was risky because, number 8 could have scored on the 8th day of the year like they did. And the only reason I also betted that is that I'm trying to figure out the pattern. What is the pattern for the first baskets? They obviously, sometimes they do it, according to what day of the week it is. Because I remember on 3 Kings Day, LeBron scored the first basket, but that was also a Tuesday, and Tuesday goes 23 like the number he wears, right? Like King. And they gave it to LeBron, right? It was last Christmas, not this Christmas, but the Christmas prior. Mikal Bridges for the Knicks scored the first basket. He wears the number 25, and that was the first game on Christmas Day. Every game is different, obviously, but on certain days, certain holidays, it's pretty obvious who they're going to give it to. Yesterday, because it was his 666 games, Pascal Siakam 666 career game, I think that was worth a shot. Even if we get it wrong, I think that's worth a shot. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that every night, just picking a random person to score the first basket and say, okay, this person. No. You have to have some type of reasoning behind it. And of course, yeah, you're gonna get some of them wrong because you're looking at you're looking at this stuff from the outside in. You're not part of the network. You don't know exactly everything that's developing. I think I've explained this a million times. Like the year that the Bulls won the championship on Father's Day when Michael Jordan won his. What was it, his 3rd championship or his 2nd championship, whatever it was. He scored 33 points, and then 33 days later, his father died. If you're trying to figure out that NBA Finals, you're not going to know everything about that NBA Finals because, remember, they didn't sacrifice Michael Jordan's dad until after the Finals concluded, right, 33 days later, while he was in his 57th year of life when NBA Finals is 57 and 33. So that's why this stuff is sometimes it's hard because sometimes they're planning things for the future. All right, so that's that. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there. It's 3:00. I have something to do at 4. Good luck, everybody. Please bet responsibly. Do not go crazy. Good luck, and please read all the notes. The Bills and Chargers notes, I'll have them up there by the end of Saturday. Like I said, if it's not really necessary for me to transfer the information there because I already made the picks, but just for you guys to see it. Did a lot of research this weekend. Over 8 hours of research and counting because we still have more games left. So here's all the Texans Steelers stuff. Whoop. Yeah, so let me just look at the chat before we close it out. Let me make sure this is updated. Okay, boom, boom. boom, boom, boom. All right. Topsy says he likes the Rams at negative 19.5. Okay. Well, it's possible that they spank them. So Vinny says Miami has a code to win it connected to Michael Irvin's birthday. Miami. You mean Miami what? Miami Heat? Topsy says if the Chargers beat the Patriots, the following round will be 2 Oregon Duck quarterbacks the day before the national championship, Justin Herbert versus Bo Nix. Yeah, that's a good narrative. That is. That's a good one. Oh, you're talking about college football. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Oregon game. Yeah. That's actually today, right? Yeah, I didn't look at this, but yeah, I don't want to overload, man. Let's just be patient. We don't have to bet on every game, you know. Let's wait for the weekend. It's gonna be a fun weekend, and yeah. But yeah, man, thanks everybody for your support, man. I appreciate it, and good luck this week. So I have the wrong span of dates. CJ Stroud. I doubt it. Let me see. What did I write? I put it as 101 days after his birthday. You saying it's 102? His birthday's on 10/3. You mean it's the 102nd day of his age? Is what you mean? It's 101 days after his birthday, man. Yeah, the 102nd day of his age, yeah. I mean, the game is on Monday. Maybe you're looking at it like it's on Tuesday. It's not on Tuesday. It's on Monday. So from 10/3 to 1/12, it's 101 days. This dude said negative 19. Yeah, I can tell you're not a real sports bettor. Probably don't even know what juice means. I don't know if you're talking about me or somebody else in the chat. So, what is your point? Negative 19.5. It's not what it is. You start the game off down by 19, down by 20 points. So you have to score 20 points just to break it even. You have to win by 20 points. You think I'm not a real sports bettor? Me? You obviously don't know me. You obviously, yeah, like Toppy said, you're obviously new here. What we've done to these sports leagues, it's unprecedented. We have stripped them naked. Literally every year, stripped them naked. Uncovered all their bullshit, all their hidden agendas, uncovered it, exposed it, predicted it, and made money off of it. We have fucked them in the ass hard, constantly, every single year for the last 7 years. You calling me not a real sports bettor? What the fuck are you talking about, man? I don't bet on sports. I expose sports like nobody else out there. But besides the people in the community, I don't want nobody getting offended. Like, oh, I'm talking about the people not in this community. I mean, there's no other sports handicapper out there doing what we're doing at the level that we're doing it. Nobody. I'm not a real sports bettor. What a clown. So, okay, let's see how ChatGPT says it. Okay. How to read odds on a sports book. For example, -19.5. So that's not how you say that, right? -19.5. That's not how you say it, according to you. Let's see how ChatGPT says it.
How to read odds on a sport book, for example, -19.5.
Oh, so I should have said -19.5 instead of -19.5? I mean, is that how you say it? -19.5? Negative and minus is not the same thing? When you start the game and you're a 19.5 point favorite, you basically start in the negative. You're in the negative. Because you have to score 20 points. That's the point of making them 19.5 point favorite. That means that team is so good that we have to start the game off with 19 points. So in order for that team to win the game, they have to win by at least 20. If they don't win by 20, they don't win the game. That's what betting on spread is. If they don't cover the spread, they don't win the game. Not literally, but just according to the spread, to the sports book. The sports book looks at it like this team has not won. That's why they have a individual record for ATS. So a team might be, like for example, the Steelers. I gotta educate these clowns. The Steelers' record this season, right? Even though the Steelers, whatever, man, StatMuse making me work extra hard today. Even though the Steelers' record is 10-7, right? Even though they're 10-7, Vegas has a different record for every single team, and that's called the ATS record, right? The ATS record is a different record. Obviously, they don't use the ATS record to determine who goes to the playoffs, but this is the record that the sports books use to make sure they are covered every night, because they know that some teams don't match up with other teams. So the Steelers, their actual record, according to Vegas, is 9-8, not 10-7. 10-7 is what the NFL uses for the team to advance to the playoffs and have standings during the season. But the ATS record is as important. So the Steelers have won 9 games this season and lost 8, according to the spread. So they start the game off with negative points. So in order for them to win the game, they have to score that many points plus more. So they will have to score 19 plus another one. So they will have to win by 20, at least 20, if they're favored by 19.5. All right, you fucking clown, telling me that I don't know how to sports bet. Like what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know exactly. You don't know what you're talking about, my brother. Trust me. If you don't think we are sports bettors over here, what we have done to these leagues, it's unprecedented, to be honest. And there's only a handful of people out there even capable of doing this stuff at the level that we're doing it. All right, so yeah, I'll leave it there. I can't let these clowns ruin my weekend, but yeah. So thank you for everybody for the support. Please support the channel. You don't have to if you don't want to. You know what I refuse to do is come on here and beg people to support my channel. If you don't want to support my channel, you don't have to. But the people who have supported me, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you. All right, you guys enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.